Welcome, guys. In this video, we'll be seeing something different from what we've seen before. This actually a special case of number base, and that is why it's called equations in number bases. Now, how do we do that? Now, sometimes you can be given a number base, you can be given numbers in different base, and then maybe they will give us one of the base unknown, and then the question will expect us to do or to calculate or find that base. Like what you're having in the question here, say if 251 in base x is equals to 100 in base 2, find the value of what? Find the value of x. Now, how do we answer questions like this? It's actually very simple. Now, let me just give you a highlight of what we'll be doing here. First, we're going to change the both side, both the left hand side and the right hand side. We're going to convert both of them to base 10. After converting to base 10, it will lead us to a quadratic equation. And then having gotten the quadratic equation, we're now going to use what? Either factorization method or any formula at all, any of the quadratic method at all you can use to answer the question to get the final answer. I hope that is clear. Now let's apply that in this now because it's actually very simple. So we'll go now, so write solution. So take the first one, that is what 251 in base x is equals to 100 in base 2. So we're going to change this to base 10. Change this to what? To base 10. This was 0, 1, 2. This is 0, 1, 2. Okay? Let me see if I can manage the space for it. So taking the first one, this is what? 2 times x raised to the power of 2 plus 5 times x raised to the power of 1 plus 1 times x raised to the power of 0 equals to, this is what? 1 times 2 raised to the power of 2 plus 0 times 2 raised to the power of 1 plus 0 times 2 raised to the power of 0. So this equals to, this is 2 times x squared, give us this will give us 2x squared plus 5 raised to the power of 5 is in as what? 5x plus anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 times 1 is what? Is 1 equals to, this is 1 times 2 raised to the power of 2 is what? Is 4. So 1 times 4 is what? Is 4. Anything multiplied by 0 is still what? 0. So what will I do here? I'll collect like terms. So this is what? 2x squared plus 5x plus 1. This one comes here, it turns to minus what? Minus 4 equals to 0. So this is what? 2x squared plus 5x. 1 minus this is what? Minus 3 equals to 0. What we are having here is called what? A quadratic equation. A quadratic equation. Now, we have different methods we can use to answer quadratic equation. We can use either factorization method, quadratic formula, completely the square method, or whatever that comes to your mind. But in this case, we want to use the factorization method. Then if you know you don't understand or you don't know how to actually solve quadratic equation, please check out our video. We'll solve a lot of questions applying different methods of how you can actually solve quadratic equation. Please watch those videos, okay, from beginning to the end. I tell you, you will enjoy them because those videos are actually they are interesting, okay. So now let's apply the quadratic the factorization method here in answering this. Now, what do we watch out for? Now, if you look at the coefficient of x here, x squared here, is more than 1. So what would you do? We'll now do what? We'll multiply this, what you are having here, we'll multiply this by what? By 3. That is 2x squared times minus 3. 2x squared times minus 3. That will give us what? Minus 15x squared. Okay? Now, the question you now ask yourself is this. You look for two numbers such that when you multiply, 2x squared times minus 3 will give us what? Minus what? Minus 6x squared. Now, the question you now ask yourself is this. You ask yourself, what two numbers will multiply itself together so that when we multiply them, we'll get what? Minus 6x squared. And then when we add them or subtract them, we'll get what? We'll get plus 5x. When you multiply them, we'll get this. And then when you add them, you get this. Like saying 5x plus 5. And then we have minus 6x squared. So look for two numbers. What are two numbers? So that when you multiply them, it will give us that. Are you following? Now, the two numbers that can easily come to my mind now, the two numbers that can come to my mind should be let's say 6 and 1. 6x and 1x. Yes. So 6x times 1x will give me what? 6. But where would the minus be now? Remember, it is plus. So will the minus be here? If the minus is here and plus is here, minus 6x plus 1x. This means you are owing somebody 6x and you have only 1x. So when you pay back the 1x, you still be owing 5x. And this is plus, means you have. So it's not going to be this. So we're going to change this. So it's going to be what? Minus and plus. Yes. So this means you have 6x and you are owing someone 1x. So what happened? You will pay the person the 1x. You will still be having what? 5x. And you are having 5x means what? Plus 5x. That is it. So these are what? These are factor. This is what we're looking for. Yes. So that is it. So plus 6x and then minus x. So that is it. So that is exactly what we're going to use now. Okay. So we're going to apply that. So in place of this 5, in place of plus 5, I'm going to replace it with what? With this. So let's go now. So that will be what? 2x squared plus 6x minus x minus 3 equals to 0. That is it. So what I do, I'll take them in pairs now. What they have in common here, we have 2x to bring it out. X, 2x times 7 will give me this, plus 2x times 4 to give me 6x, plus 3. So 2x times 3 will give me this. What they have in common here, minus. That is minus 1. Minus 1 times 4 to give me x, will give me what? That is x. Minus 1 times x is transform minus x. Minus times plus to give me minus. So minus 1 times 4 to give me 3. That should be what? 3. So minus times minus is 3. 1 times 3 is what? Is 3. Equals to what? 0. So if you look at the bracket, they are the same. So we'll take 1. That was 2x minus 1. Open bracket. We take one of them. X plus 3 equals to 0. So this means that 2x minus 1 is equals to 0, or x plus 3 is equals to 0. So you collect like terms. This is what 2x equals to what? This come here, it turns to what? 1, or x equals to what? Minus 3. So you divide both sides by 2. Okay, so x is equals to what? 1 over 2, or x equals to what? Minus 3. Now, since x cannot take up a fraction or a negative value, that means that the two value of x that we're having here does not satisfy the what? The equation. Both of them does not satisfy the equation. So that is it. So we're going to wipe this off now, and then we'll now take what? Example 2. Okay. Mathematics is actually very, very simple. All you need to do, don't be lazy. Practice, and in no time you come to agree with me that mathematics is very, very simple. Now let's take the second one now. That is what? 244 in base n equals to what? 1022 in base 4. Again, what do I say? You will convert both the right hand side and the left hand side, change them to base 10. So how do we do that? Is 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is what? 2 times n raised to the power of 2 plus 4 times n raised to the power of 1 plus 4 times n raised to the power of 0 equals to 1 times 4 raised to the power of 3 plus 0 times 4 raised to the power of 2 plus 2 times 4 raised to the power of 1 plus 2 times 4 raised to the power of 0. So this is what? 2 times n, 2 times n squared is what? 2n squared plus 4 times n is what? 4n plus anything raised to the power of 0 is what? Is 1. So 1 times 4 is what? Is 4 equals to that. Let's go here. 4 raised to the power of 3 means 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is what? 16. Means 4 times 4 times 4 like this. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4. Okay, this is what? 6 times 4 times 6 is what? 24. Okay, write down for carry what? 2. 4 times 1 is 4 plus the 2. That is 64. So 4 raised to the power of 3 is what? Is 64. 4, okay? Plus anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So 4 raised to the power of 1 is still 4. 2 times 4 is what? Is 8. Plus anything raised to the power of 0 is what? Is 1. 1 times 2 is what? Is 2. So this is what? 2n squared plus 4n plus 4 equals to 64 plus 8. 64 plus 8 will give us what? 72. That is 72. 72 plus 2, that is what? 74. So you collect like terms. So 2n squared plus 4n plus 4 minus 74 is equals to 0. So 2n squared plus 4n. 4 minus 74 give us what? Minus 70 equals to what? 0. So this takes us now down. That leads us now to what? A quadratic equation. Now what do we do here? The same question we asked ourselves earlier is the same thing we are going to do. We are going to use factorization method. So what do? We'll multiply this because the power of what? N here is a power of the coefficient of n squared here is more than 1. So what will you do? We're going to multiply this by this. That means 2n squared times minus 70. 2n squared times minus 70. 2n squared times minus 70. This will give us what? This equals to what? Minus 140n squared. Now we ask ourselves, what two number will you multiply together so that when you multiply them, you will get what? Minus 140n squared. And then when you add them together, you will get what? You will get 4n. Two numbers so that when we multiply them, we're going to get what? Minus 140n squared. And then when we add them together, we are going to get what? Plus 4n. Of course, the number that should come to your mind, we should be looking at 10 and what? And 14. Because 10 times 14 is what? 140. Or put n here. Good. 10n times 14n will give us what? 140n squared. Now, when I think now, you know this is minus here. This is minus. It's going to be minus. And then remember, we said when we add them together, we should be able to get what? Plus 4n. So where will we put our sign? If I put minus here, minus 10n times minus 14n will give me what? Plus 140n. So of course, both of them will not be nn. So where will the n? Where will the will not be minus? Where will the plus be? So will the minus be here and plus here? Let's check again. Plus 10n times minus 14n will give me minus 140n squared because plus times minus is minus. 10n times 14n will give me 140n. Okay, first condition satisfied. Now let's check the second condition if it's satisfied. This means you are having 10n and you are owing someone 14n. So what happened? If you give the person out of the 10n, out of the 14n you are owing the person, you will now return 10n that you have. Of course, you still be owing the person 4n. And you are owing 4n means minus 4n. Now let's go here. Is it minus 4n? No, it is plus 4n. So that means the sign, something must happen to the sign. So let's put minus here and let's change this to plus. So let's check again. Minus times plus is still minus. 10n times minus 14n is still 140n squared. So first condition satisfied. Let's check the second condition again. So this means you are owing someone 10n. You are owing 10n and then you have 14n. So what happened? You will give the person the 10n. Okay, out of your 14n, you have 14. Out of the 14n, so, okay, I'm owing you 10n. Okay, my friend, I'm owing you 10n. Okay, take your 10n. After returning the 10n, of course, you will still be having 4n. And you are having 4n means what? Plus 4n. So automatically, this is exactly what you are looking for. This satisfies what? The equation or the two conditions, okay? So what will I do now? I'm not going to do what? Replace this with what? With 4. In place of plus 4n, I'm going to fix this to that. So that is exactly what I'm going to do right now. So that will be what? 2n squared minus 10n plus 14n minus 70 equals to 0. So we continue from here now. Factorization method is actually very, very simple. Please check out our videos, okay, on that quadratic equation. You understand this better. So let's look at this. Something is common there. We have 2 here, we have 2 here, n is here, n is here. So I can bring them, and that is what 2n. So that is what 2n, open bracket. What will I multiply by 2n to get 2n squared? Of course, it's n. What will I multiply by 2n so that I will get minus 10n? Is what? Minus 5. 2n times minus 5 give me what? Minus 10n. So I'll now take these 2 also. I have what? 14. I have 70 here. Now looking at them, what do they have in common? Something is common there. Okay? Something is common between 140, between 40n and this. So we'll first bring out our what? Our sign first. That should be plus now. Okay? That should be plus. So bring out what? 14. 14 is here, and 14 is also here. So bring out the 14. Good. So I'll ask myself, what will I multiply by 14 to give me 14n? Of course, it's going to be what? N. Okay? So there's minus here. So I'm going to put my, so that by the time I say plus times minus, it will give me minus. So what will I multiply by 14? So that my answer will be what? 70. Of course, it's going to be what? 5. Equals to 0. 14 times 5 is what? Is 70. If you look at what you're having in the bracket, they are the same. So we're going to take one. So first, bring out this 2n plus 14, open bracket, n minus 5 equals to what? 0. So this means that 2n plus 14 is equals to 0, or n minus 5 is equals to 0. So collect like terms. 2n is equals to minus 14, or n is equals to what? 5. So divide both sides by 2. So n is equals to minus 7, or n is equals to what? 5. Again, our base cannot be a negative. So that means that the base n, that means that therefore n is equals to what? 5. That means that this solution or this question, this n is in base what? Is in base 5. What does that mean? It means that if you should convert 244 in base 5 to a number in base 4, you will get everything you are having here. That is exactly what that means. You can try it out on your own. That if you should convert 244 in base 5, that you want to convert 244 in base 5 to a number in base 4, you will get 1022. You can check it out on your own, okay? It's actually very simple and interesting. I hope this is clear. I hope you're enjoying this. You're enjoying it, right? If you're enjoying this, please don't forget to click the like button and share these videos, okay? If you don't understand, you can go through this video over and over again so you get a thorough understanding of this. So let's take the third one now. So let's take the third one. Cleaning this off. Okay, so the third one now, we have 3, 2, 1 in base n is equals to 2, 3, 2 in base 7. Again, change this to base 10, change this to base 10. This is 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. So this means 3 times n raised to the power of 2 plus 2 times n raised to the power of 1 plus 1 times n raised to the power of 0 equals to what? 2 times 7. This is what? 2 times 7 raised to the power of 2 plus 3 times 7 raised to the power of 1 plus 2 times 7 raised to the power of 0. So this is what? 3n squared plus 2n plus this is 1 equals to 7 squared is what? 49. So 49 times 2. 49 times 2, this is 18. This is 98. 98 plus this is 21 plus this is 1. So that is what? 2. Okay? So this is what? 3n squared plus 2n plus 1 equals to 98 plus 2 is what? Is 100. Oh, sorry. 98 plus 2 is 100. 100 plus 21 is what? 121. So you collect like term. This is what? 3n squared plus 2n plus 1 minus 121 equals 0. This is what? 3n squared plus 2n. 1 minus 121 will give us what? Minus 120 equals to 0. So these are what? Quadratic equation again. This is a quadratic equation. So what do we do? Using factorization method again, since the power of what? Of n square here is more than 1, what will you do? We're going to multiply this. So say 3n square times minus 120. So this will give us what? Minus 360 n square. Minus 360 n square. I will now ask myself the same question we'll be asking since. What two number will I multiply together so that when I multiply them, I'll get minus 360 n square, and then when I add them together, I'll get what? Plus 2n. There are different factors of what? 360. Okay, there are different factors of 360. We have so many of them. 360 times 1 will still give you what? 360. Okay, 60 times 60 will still give you what? 360. But remember, the second condition, you have to bear that in mind while you are looking for those factors. That when you add them together, you should be able to get what? Plus 2n. To me right now, the number that easily comes to my mind should be, I'm looking at this, 18 and 20. 2 times 18 is 36. Guys, yeah, 18 times 20 will give me what? 360. Yes. So the factor, and then I can say 20 minus 18 will still give me this. Oh, that is it. So this is the number that comes to my mind, 18 and 20. 18 and 20. So let's see this. So we'll put n here. We'll put n here. So 18n times 20n will give me what? 360n square. But this is minus. So where will my minus be now? Let me put the minus here. Let's say this is plus and let this be minus. Minus times plus is minus. 18n times 20n is 360n square. So let's now check. That is the first condition satisfied. Let's check the second condition. When we add this together, we should be able to get plus 2n. Now let's check what you have here. This means you are owing someone 18n and you have 20n. What will happen? Since you have 20n and you are owing someone 18n, so what will you do? You will give the person back his 18n. And after returning the 18n back to that person, of course, you should still be having what? 2n. And you are having 2n means what? Plus 2n. That is what? Plus 2n. So if you look at it, the two condition is satisfied. So automatically, this is what you are looking for. That is what you are looking for. So in place of what? 2n, I'm going to replace it with minus 18n plus 20n. So that will be what? 3n squared minus 18n plus 20n minus 120 equals to 0. So what do you do now? Look at this now. We're going to handle them together. Looking at this 3n, I have 3 here, I have 3 here, I have n here, I have n here. So I'm going to bring that out, 3n. So what will I multiply by 3n? So my answer will be what? 3n squared is what is n. What will I multiply by 3n so that my answer will be what? Minus 18n is going to be what? That should be what? Minus 6. Okay? 3n times minus 6 will give me what? Minus 18n. So I'll now take these two together. There is plus. These two are 20n and minus 120. So what they have in common? 20 is here. 20 should also be here. Yes, 20 should also be here. So I bring out the 20. So I ask myself, what will I multiply by 20 so that I'll get what? 20n. That should be here. N. Now what will I multiply by what? 20 so that I will get minus 120. That should be what? Minus 6. Equals to 0. Yeah. Plus times minus is what? Minus. 20 times 6 will give me what? Will give me what? 120. Will give me 120. So let's go. This and this are the same. So pick one. 3n plus 20. Open bracket n minus 6 equals 0. So this is saying 3n plus 20 is equals to 0, or n minus 6 is equals to 0. Collect like terms. 3n is equals to what? Minus 20, or n is equals to this. Go this way. Turn to what? 6. So divide both side by 3. Divide both side by 3. So n is equals to what? Minus 7. It's no. Minus 8 whole number. 3 times is it 8? No. 3 times 8 3 times 8 is 20, is 24. So it's 3 times 6 minus 6 whole number 2/3. Okay, or n is equals to what? 6. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Sometimes your brain will just shh. Okay, but it's interesting. I love that. Okay, so that is it. So now again, we can't have a negative base. It's not possible for us to have a negative base. It's not possible. No, no. So that means that our answer, therefore, n is equals to what? N is equals to 6. So this is our main guy here, 6. So the base is what? Is 6. That means that if I should convert this number 321 in bases, if I should convert a number in base 7, I will get what? 232. And that is it. So that is how we actually solve what? Equation involving what? Number bases. Is actually what? Very, very simple. With a thorough understanding of quadratic equation and factorization method, you can easily do that in any exam. Again, if you appreciate what you are doing, please don't forget to share our videos. And if you have not subscribed, I encourage you to please click subscription button. Subscription is actually free, and turn on your notification button so whenever I upload new content, you'll be notified on them. And don't forget to drop your comment in the comment section. I appreciate you so much for always visiting Joshua Okwuwe Online Maths. Bye bye for now.